Jody Daniels, privacy consultant, and today we're going to talk about the California Consumer Privacy Act, known as CCPA. It was passed in June 2018 and it's effective January 2020. So what do you need to know about the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA? So first, it is different than GDPR. Some have said it's kind of like a mini GDPR, and in some ways it brings many of the notion of an individual having access, notice and access and control over their data. So there are a few minimum criteria that a company needs to meet. So first, it needs to have $25 million in global revenue, or it needs to have more than 50% of its revenue come from the sale of data, or effectively 50,000 website visitors annually. So if you're collecting basically information on 50,000 households, which is really easy for business to do on a website, then you are in scope for CCPA. There's a couple core pieces. The first is a privacy notice. There are some very specific requirements that you're going to need to include in your privacy notice. Second would be security. So it's in CCPA, there are individual private rights of action that an individual could take if a company was to suffer from a data breach. And those individual private rights of action really come in when a company is considered negligent. So it will not be for every single data breach that is out there, but this is a really great time to ensure that you have a strong security program and that you are on top of any patches, and you have really just a very strong program there. Another big piece under CCPA is the individual rights. So much like GDPR, the ability, for example, if I ask to have my data deleted, as a company, you're going to need to be able to know where is all of my data, and can you find all the different tools and vendors and Excel spreadsheets and Dropbox, and literally think about all the places that a data might be to be able to have it be deleted. That's just one of the individual rights. There are many others. And another really big area is if your company sells data. You literally have to have a button on your website, plus another method that a consumer can ask for their data to not be sold. So you also have to think about the process that will happen if I click on that button, I fill out the form, and I say, I don't want my data to be sold. What will you do? How will you train everyone? Do you know where all of your data is to be able to execute and honor the do not sell request, as well as the other individual rights requests? And finally, a lot of people would say, well, I'm GDPR compliant, so I'm good for CCPA. And that's actually not necessarily true. It is a great foundation. If you had to comply with GDPR, you are a step ahead of the curve, but there is a lot more that needs to happen from a CCPA perspective. So I encourage you to take a look at what your processes are, identify, are you selling any data? The CCPA is a little bit, has more people kind of in scope for its individual rights. So you want to take a deeper look at the comparison between CCPA and GDPR and identify what steps you need to take now to make sure that you're ready for the deadline in 2020.